Thank you very much, all of you, doing wonderful. This organizing the practical diabetology is very, very important. And one more surprise is that it is very surprising that a physician is addressing PCOS. So now few slides, marathon of few slides will help us to understand, yes, it is a disease to be addressed by the physician first, and then or either it can be with simultaneous teamwork is required. With this word, let us have some data that is very, very dangerous or something like alarming for us. Earlier, the health system we geared for only the prevention and management of infectious disease, but the current ecosystem required a mitigation of the obesity and its related complication and comorbidity. Since 1975, the global prevalence of obesity nearly been tripled, and the World Obesity Federation predict that more than 50% of the world population will be overweight or maybe obese by 2035. And obesity has become an epidemic, and it has been required urgent action to prevent it, because it's just like some infection which we have faced in the past, like a corona. So we have to be very fast in acting this. We are not here to discuss every time diabetes and its complications and hypertension and its complication, but it is the root value we have to focus now. It is the time to, as already the topic is 360 degree old and new. Yes, it is really 360 degree. And now we can see that obesity can cause 230 plus health complication by itself. And yes, India ranks only 99th in the global preparedness for tackling obesity. So with this data, we should be more it is alarming, and we should be more focused. Now looking to this, it is now no more the metabolic, now more it is the obesity. Now it is only the metabolic syndrome we have to look for, and we can analyze it according to the complication, like it may be cardiometabolic or it may be cardio-renal-metabolic syndrome. So obesity is now the misnomer. Whenever you address, you just have to speak about the metabolic syndrome as well. And the major, because the central obesity is causing all the complications and all the comorbidity and diseases. So central obesity, hypertriglyceridemia, low HDL, hyperglycemia and hypertension is a cluster of the disease that is giving rise to the metabolic syndrome and all the related complications. So we know these are the IDF criteria, and this chart everybody should keep in on your table as and when you see the patient, and you are just telling your patient that you are being screened for totally, you are only having diabetes. So these criteria, and more important, we know these criteria, but for the Asians it are different, they are become lower. That is, for men the waist circumference is more than 90 centimeters is considered abnormal, and women more than 80 is also been abnormal. So it is globally it may be more, but for Asian it is again more alarming. And other criteria also you have to look for, and if there are more than 3 criteria present in any of one patient, it is considered as a metabolic syndrome. So now onward we'll going to write the patient is not overweight or obesity, will write down hypertension with metabolic syndrome. Again, if we see the criteria for obesity as well, if patient is not having any other associated condition, these are the 4 things we have to check for, not only one. You can advise this patient for the body fat percentage as well. It is commonly, it is available, or it is available at the airport also. So anytime if they are visiting any place, they can go for this. So all 4 should be screened every yearly at least when any patient comes to you for any other disease, not necessary for diabetes and hypertension. So waist hip ratio is to be included in most of the patients when they are coming to you, if you feel it is been screened for metabolic syndrome. Now some risk factor as we know, but we have to I would like to highlight some terminology in this. However, there is sedentary lifestyle, age, diabetes, presence of diabetes, coronary heart disease, and lipodystrophy, and genetic and epigenetic factor, and composition of gut microbe. These all are the risk factor for development of the metabolic syndrome. But here I would like to mention something about what is MH MHO and what is MONW and what is hidden obesity. So MHO is a metabolically healthy obesity. You must be surprised that if there is obesity, how it can be metabolically healthy. But it is it is a genetic phenotype. It is not safe. It is also going to be develop a metabolic syndrome as well. But here the patient is having a visceral fat is less. That is not having a metabolic syndrome criteria. It not fits in the having a subcutaneous fat, mainly seen in young patient. So here is the visceral obesity, which is very dangerous. Ectopic fat, visceral obesity, that is only the main culprit for all the diseases. So again, we have to address this. We have to look for. So patient may have subcutaneous fat, but there is no visceral obesity. That is MHO. And there is MONW, that is person may have a metabolically obese but normal weight. So that is thin lean obesity or something like a diabetes we always thinking about. And there is another is a hidden obesity, in which there is a nutritional deficiency. Even though height, weight and every parameters are normal, but even though patient may be deficient of the nutrition, mainly the selenium, zinc and magnesium. So that is also a routine practice to look for the whether is deficient for any nutrition or not. So these are the risk factor we have to screen for each and every patient, not necessarily only diabetic and hypertensive. So because it is why we are worried about all this, because a cross risk factor because of the cardiometabolic disease is very prevalent, and we want to prevent the cardiovascular diseases and its complication. And you can see that in the patient, these are the cross and overlapping risk factors. But here again, I am here to talk about PCOS. So you can see here it is in the center of the all three things, that is even in diabetes, even the patient is obesity or cardiometabolic syndrome or even CVD, it is a central part. So some pathogenesis for the cardiometabolic syndrome is we know, but it starts from the genetics and the fetal programming starts. So pre-counseling is very, very important before the conception the parents are willing for, and excessive dietary intakes and lack of exercise, that is all are the main culprits. So you can see the 50%, even it can go up to the 75% can be changed. That is why I am sharing this slide. Even if you have a parental counseling, this fetal programming can be changed. That is Dr. Bansi Saab and his team is working on this perinatal prevention and all this. But so that is why, and we know that insulin resistant, visceral obesity and hypothalamus pituitary axis dysregulation and the atherogenic dyslipidemia. These are the main pathogenesis for the metabolic syndrome. And of course, out of this, if we go further, then insulin resistant one is only giving rise to all these conditions, and one of them is the PCOS. So we know that excessive weight is always the main culprit, or we can say the metabolic syndrome gives rise to all this abnormality. One of them is thrombosis predisposition also, and this can lead to all the complication. Now going to this, by the introduction of this metabolic syndrome, let's go to the main subject, that is a polycystic ovarian syndrome. That some data are really very alarming for our physicians, and we should be very alert about all these things. That is, childhood and adolescent obesity is global health issue. 160 million young people are living with obesity right now. And childhood obesity is likely to persist into the adulthood, with likely to be have cardiometabolic and psychological comorbidity and premature mortality. And the prevalence of obesity in adolescent linked with the 10-fold rise in the prevalence of the type 2 diabetes. Further, if we see that PCOS is most common endocrine disorder women at and reproductive age. It is not a gynecological problem. It is an endocrine disorder. And PCOS is not only reproductive disease, but it is a metabolic imbalance and insulin resistance. And 8 to 13% of the women are affected, and 17% remain undiagnosed. Insulin resistance present in 80% of the female. Obesity present in again 80%. Lean PCOS is also common. And women with PCOS have 4 to 10 times higher risk of type 2 diabetes, and the patient is having psychologically also been affected by the major depression and anxiety as well. So this is overall, it has been affected. Whenever we get the patient with obesity, we have to screen for the whether this obesity is there or not, or if the person is having obesity, you have to see for the PCOS. So PCOS is also one of the main reason for the development of metabolic syndrome as well. It is not like that because of the metabolic syndrome the PCOS is happening. Few slides will help us to understand the pathogenesis of this. But before that, all physicians also should know this Rotterdam criteria for PCOS. Any person, anybody who's sitting in this hall, I surprised to ask from my side that is asking any menstrual history or anything during your clinical history. Of course endocrinologist, but a general physician, I think it should be our routine practice. If we are doing, it's really great. So we have to ask for and have to look for this criteria as fitting is there, not that is patient is having any irregular menstruation or amenorrhea or having any changes. You can ask for the LH and testosterone level, or having clinical features of hirsutism, acne, or female type of baldness, and presence of polycystic morphology in ovary can be diagnosed very easily by the simple advising sonography. So all the diabetic patients should be screened for the sonography and first time when you come to our consultation. So 2 out of 3 will consider as a criteria to diagnose as a PCOS. Now some pathophysiology, if we see for PCOS, it is largely unclear, but the genetic predisposition is there, obesity is there. Is, of course, I have mentioned is a metabolic syndrome, is 80% being affected with PCOS, and hormonal imbalance, that is increased androgen level and insulin level will be there, and other insulin resistant and hypothalamic pituitary abnormality and ovarian dysfunction. These are the main complex that maybe affect the pathophysiology of the PCOS and give rise to. But this is a very important slide I would like to share, is that is there is a role of inflammation. It is not like because of the obesity the person is having a PCOS, but if your patient is diagnosed first as a PCOS, all the gynecologists, your friend, you can convey that if you are dealing with PCOS, you have to just refer once to the further to diagnose the metabolic syndrome patient is suffering, or then you will get more better result for infertility or whatever the treatment you are offering. So you can see there is a cross reaction between the obesity and the PCOS. What exactly happened, we know that because of the obesity there is insulin resistance, there is a hyperandrogenism, and again because of PCOS there is also the aldosteronism is there, and there is a overdevelopment of the follicles, and there is a PCOS. And because of the insulin resistance, we know there is a TNF alpha, all inflammatory markers, especially the dangerous are IL-6 and IL-8. And then there is TNF alpha, and pro-inflammatory cytokines are also been released, and these all are give rise to inflammation. So it can inflammatory symptom to give rise to insulin resistance is maybe coming from the PCOS, not necessarily the only cardiometabolic syndrome. So we have to look for from where the patient is having a increase this inflammatory symptoms. However, the cardiometabolic syndrome or metabolic syndrome, it is a visceral fat which is the factory for release of all these inflammatory factors. So these are the interconnected. So once you treat one condition, but you have to address another simultaneously. Of course, there is a pathophysiological link between obesity and PCOS. Is a long-term complications are always going to be there, but the important part in this slide would be like to highlight is a hyperinsulinemia caused, and there is a insulin resistance are because of the hormonal imbalance from the PCOS maybe, and that is because of a aldosteronism, and that is why there is all the chances of development, all the complication like type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular risk, and a patient may having or gynecological complication. And this hyperandrogenism is because of the one important is because of the visceral adiposities. There is we know that is a liver is being affected, and so there is a sex hormone binding globulin will reduce, and that will increase this aldosteronism. So there is again there is a link between all these things. So we have to look for where we can be corrected, and all should be screened simultaneously. Some studies also shows that those patients who having obesity, they have, you can see in that right side, towards your right side, that those who are having high BMI or having obesity have more chances of development of PCOS. And there is a, okay. Another study also said there is infertility treatments are required. Those who are a PCOS, we know that because of the obesity it is there. So that is what I want to tell is that there is interconnected. We have to look for both the conditions simultaneously, and we have to address both the parts simultaneously. And that is only the management of the PCOS will be include, that is management of the weight management. That is can become first line treatment is in PCOS with metabolic syndrome is a health lifestyle management. That is not only the lifestyle management in form of healthy eating and physical activity, but holistic approach is also been included in that. So this all will help us, and how it is helpful to reduce the weight. We can see that is weight loss immediately after the starting of the anti-obesity drug or something like lifestyle modification. The effect will start, as in previous lecture also sir, Dr. Joshi sir has explained that how the metformin is useful in reducing. However, it is not been described allowed to use as an anti-obesity drug, but it helps in the reduction of the obesity and weight, and that again help in the improvement of the menstrual frequency and ovulation. So immediately it will start, not necessary 5% weight loss. If the person start losing 1 kg weight within a 1 month, immediately the inflammatory markers, the factory will stop producing this inflammatory, and the benefit will start inside. And then physically also we can see, and laboratory will show afterward. So these are the drugs also can be used, that is GLP-RA as you can be used for the management of diabetic. Most of the patient of metabolic syndrome may be associated with the diabetes. We can use this, but it is the circuit breaker, that is GLP-1-RA in the treatment of PCOS and obesity with diabetes. We can know that will again decreases the insulin resistance, and there is a neuroendocrine dysfunction can be corrected, and elevated androgen can be reduced because of the correction of the weight or weight reduction. We know that GLP-RA will help in the reduction of the 5%, that is more within a 24 weeks. Various pioneer studies we already discussed and so many times, and this will really help to help in the treatment of the PCOS with metabolic syndrome. So of course the lifestyle intervention is main base for the treatment of the weight reduction, but some drugs also help in this thing. Some studies also help, that is GLP-RA also increase the ovulation volume, and then increase the sex hormone binding globulin level. And weight management can be also by retrograde can be seen that IVF pregnancy become rate positive because of this spontaneous weight loss. And we know these are the anti-obesity drugs. Recently we are very happy and we are very really blessed that all drugs are available in India, and it can be used for treatment of the metabolic syndrome, and the doses, and we can see in the early state is now going to very down, but now the Mounjaro is on the talk of the town. So we can take the advantage of this, and this will really help to overall control of the metabolic syndrome. So after all this thing, you must be facing such patient. So think of the answer about it, and it is up to you. But the thing important is we have to look for the polycystic PCOS in all the female patients, those who are coming to you with just for the treatment of diabetes or something like a metabolic syndrome. So take home message, adolescent obesity in PCOS is common problem. Metabolic syndrome is implicated in PCOS pathophysiology primarily due to insulin resistance and metabolic imbalance. A metabolic syndrome and PCOS might have underlying genetic factor, and the women with PCOS and metabolic syndrome are at a higher risk of cardiovascular complication, and premenopausal women with PCOS are at increased risk of endometrial cancer. Now, early diagnosis, lifestyle modification, reduce weight, and with the pharmacological therapy will help to prevent such complications. So basically we are here to offer them to prevent from the major complication related to acute cardiac events, severe stroke and diabetes. And this is our team working on, this is a government team with the GOI and Eco India, which project which has been controlled AIDS and malaria. You can see that is with them we are working. There is cardiometabolic project run by the government of India in all 4 states, and this is our team we are working. That is at the CHC PHC level and at the level of the Anganwadi. That lady will go to each and every home to see that anybody is suffering from the cardiometabolic syndrome or not. Obesity tracking is been done, and then early address, it can be diagnosed at the periphery. That is the project main goal, and the early prevention of development of diabetes and hypertension. And this is our state level team working with this every time, training all the medical officers and concerned people how to track this metabolic syndrome and the prevention of all the diseases, that is non-communicable disease. And this is our team working at SOLA for this disease regularly, and daily we are looking for all these complications and all the patients. And that's all about thank you very much.
Wonderfully presented.